Okay. So here, as per Sam's method, what we do is we first start by drawing, um, and I'm using pencil right now. You can also start using pencil to begin with. Draw a square or a kind of rectangle, like anything is fine, and split it into 4 parts, right? So the lower two parts are is the section wherein we are going to draw eyes. So take to begin with, because this is the first time, pick the center part of the first block and center part of second block and draw a dot in that, right? So that becomes our eye, and then add a shape. I'm going to that, and yeah, and then add the shape of the eye around it, right? So that becomes our eye. Initially, don't go with all the shape. Just try to understand the process or the flow that is going on over here. So that becomes our eye, and then we add ears. The ear top portion starts from this middle line, right? And along that line, we draw eyebrow, right? Again, a curved shape. To begin with, you can just add one simple curve, right? So that we have got now forehead, we have got eyes, eyebrow, and ear. Now what we are going to do is we are going to add jaw to this. So draw U just below that, and that makes our jaw. And then if we extend this vertical line down below and cut this jaw part into half, and that's where we draw our lip, right? And to draw a lip, maybe we can add just one single line and make it little bulkier by adding curve on top of it, right? And that's all. I don't think we need to add nose right now. Now what we do is we add an inverted U on the top portion, right? And add hair. Now, if I draw my hair, which is pretty like curly, it can be very simple, but you can add a hairstyle of your own choice, maybe standing hair like that. And that's what we can experiment now if we want to kind of keep drawing more faces, right? So yeah. So once you're done with this, pick up a ballpoint pen or whatever pen, and let's make it final. So here, eyebrow, eye. So that makes up our face, right? And then we can, like, if we want to add body, we can add 2 lines on either side of to have a neck, add a little inverted, a little U, and then add the shoulders. Yeah. So with this, actually, we can actually make a profile picture. If during Sketchnotes, if you are drawing faces, the most important part that you kind of lay importance on is hair, and that will come with some practice, and the distance between eyes and lips. Nose is bit difficult. Maybe it'll come with time. Um, so because some nose are sharp, some nose are yeah, like all noses are different, right? So I would say just stick with eyes and lips to begin with. So want to try this again? I'll do this again. This time, maybe I can make a square. Last time it was more of a rectangle. This time it will be a square. So draw a rectangle square, then split it into 4 parts. Draw eye in the center. Again, as I said, we can actually experiment with the distance between two eyes. So right now we are keeping them at the center of each block. Instead of that, we can actually experiment by keeping it little near the center line or farther to the center line. Okay. I don't know if this makes sense, but can you guess who is this?
Looks like Jatin.
Yeah,
It's yummy.
yeah. So what made you think no, this face looks like Jatin's?
Hmm. The ratio, right? I mean the face ratio and his mustache actually.
Yeah. So mustache is one peculiar thing. If I had drawn it like a French cut, maybe you would have said Rajesh Kumar, right? So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
basic idea.
guess what I drew. I'm not
Oh.
seriously.
Yeah.
So
So the catch over here is to kind of notice what is something very peculiar about that person and try to kind of focus only on that, highlight that thing, and then you will be able to kind of capture. So normally in sketch notes, if we are in a conference or seminar and trying to kind of capture the speaker's face, see what is something very specific. It can be the eyeglass or some accessory, cap, hat, um, or maybe they are holding something which is very specific. Say they're always holding a pen in their hand. In which case we kind of have something like this, right? Again, highlight that. Okay. Um, so that's about sketching faces. Anything you want to add, you want to ask, questions, want to share?
so how do you decide the proportions of the jaw?
Okay. I right now I have not gone to the level of deciding that proportion.
Mhm.
Right now it is more like, hey, can we draw a face very simply, right?
Yeah.
That's the main idea that is there right now.
Okay. Then
But
sec.
if we see any face profile, it can either be a complete circle, right, or an oblong, or kind of a triangle or hexagon, kind of, right?
Right.
So based on that, if you look at somebody, you will actually, with some observation, you will get some idea about what is the shape, and also whether the face length is more or the width is more. Based on that, we don't need to be again precise. Approximately, we can kind of get an understanding. Yeah.
Okay. Any tips from the same method to draw side faces, or maybe at an angle?
I was thinking of it, but right now I don't have. Maybe we can
May-
experiment
Or
by,
maybe next session.
yeah, maybe next session we can actually have that. But normally, the way I have been drawing side faces is using the method of using letter J. So
Right.
I've already done that, but for maybe Muthu, Bharti, Rohini, um, write J, right? So that's the J. I don't know if you can see, but that's letter J. And then we add two eyes, and on top of it, we add hair and the lips. Or we can also draw face looking at the other side by drawing inverted J. Like that. If it's a female face, we add long hair the other side. So yeah, but maybe next time we can experiment with how to draw a side profile using some method. Maybe we'll find out what works the most simplest way. So how many faces all of you have? How many? What are the variations of that you have drawn?
These are
Okay, cool. Is that direct, or is that
no, no. Last
using
one was actually using the this thing. Sorry, I mean, this one.
the SAM's method? Okay.
Then what I thought, because I was using pen, so I thought like
Mhm.
maybe.
Okay.
In-
You're showing something, Muthu. Oh, cool.
Trying to repeat what you've been teaching.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Now going to the last section, which is to Sketchnote Live. And for that, Jatin, Samir, do you have any content for that? Have you thought of anything, or should I kind of pull it up?
No, not this week, but I couldn't find anything.
Okay, cool. Even I have to kind of go to Twitter and find it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some content from internet, and then we are going to kind of convert that content into a sketch note. Okay. Let me see. All right. So here I have. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody kind of put together notes on how to become an expert on something. And these are the findings. But if you see down the line, there are 3 points that are given: how to become an expert at a thing. So iteratively take on concrete projects and accomplish them depth-wise. Second is teach or summarize everything that you learn in your own words, and then only compare yourself to your younger you, never to others. So let's focus on these 3 points, and then try to kind of create a sketch note out of this, right? For Muthu, Rohini, Bharti, there are few pointers that you can follow to kind of create sketch note. The first one being visual hierarchy. Okay. And while I'm doing that, Jatin, Samir, you can kind of get started. You already know the basics. So visual hierarchy, right? And that you achieve by, and if my screen is not directly visible, let's see.
We see the thread there with the window, not the drawing.
I'm trying to see if I can still uh, because while sharing my screen, how do I kind of or something I need to figure out. Maybe at your end, you can actually pin, if you can pin or
No, pin will not help because
okay,
the
well,
focus is on what you're sharing from Zoom,
okay,
not
okay.
the camera.
Right.
Ah,
Let's
I
do
think
this.
now we can see on
Let's
not.
do this thing.
Maybe Kumar, you can drop the link in the chat and then
Yeah,
you can start drawing.
I kind of found a solution.
Oh, okay.
Oops. This can't go further. Yeah, I think I'll need to kind of let me share the link in the chat so that you can open it at your end. Chat. Okay, so the link is in the chat. Okay, so visual hierarchy. So you attain visual hierarchy by writing text in 3 different heights. So if you got just a pen, let's say you've got a ballpoint pen. If you are writing a title, maybe write a title of a bigger height. and then your subtopic of smaller height, and then whatever body text goes your normal text style. Okay, so that's because when you see this one gets your first attention, and then this one, and then this one. So that's how your visual hierarchy works. Right. So this is one principle that you follow in sketchnoting. Second one is writing in chunks. So 2 to 3 words in a line and 4 to 5 lines in a chunk. Okay, what it means is if I'm writing by looking at this block, maybe I'll write something like concrete projects and accomplish them, right? So this kind of becomes one block. Okay. All right, so now what we'll do is I will create a sketch note, and Muthu, Bharti, if you want to kind of refer to this, you can refer to this and then follow along with me. So the title of this thing is how to become an expert, right? So I'll start with our title. How to become an expert, right? So I'm giving an expert the highest significance by writing that in taller or with bigger line height. And then I can kind of scratch it to make it look bold. If I have a marker like this, I would kind of just use the width of the marker. So with one stroke itself, I can get a good text width. How to become an expert. And then there are 3 points. So I can either kind of divide my remaining space into 3 columns, or I can have 3 rows, right? So imaginary, maybe we can draw an imaginary line, or maybe we draw a line. So I'm following a column approach over here, right? And then I'll go with first one is iteratively take on concrete projects and accomplish them depth-wise, learning on demand, right? So maybe I'll write iteratively the reason of doing it or breaking it down into smaller chunks is because it becomes really easy, and this is bite-sized information which can be kind of consumed very easily. It becomes very fast, and that's why sketch notes look really cool or really good, because they make things very easy to consume. So I've written one, the first line itself, I've kind of broken it down into 2 parts. Iteratively take on concrete projects and accomplish. The reason I'm kind of writing everything from the Twitter content directly is it's already summarized. So I don't need to kind of still um, filter out the words. But if I was in some session, maybe I'll just capture the keywords and only capture them over here. Depth-wise. Okay. Learning on demand. Now, if you observe, what I'm also doing is I'm leaving some white space around the content. So how would we visualize iteratively take on concrete projects? So concrete projects or projects, if we have to say, maybe what comes to my mind in terms of project is maybe a project folder, right? So that's how I'll draw a folder. Or we can also make a laptop to kind of show a project. And because it's an iteration, I'll draw 2 arrows, which kind of shows that things are going in continuation. Okay, and accomplish them depth-wise. So accomplishment means, and depth-wise, what comes to your mind when you think of accomplishing a project? Maybe for me, it is more like that there is a person who is sitting on a table. So I'll draw a line, and then I'll draw a person, right? And kind of working on something, right? And because it says depth-wise, anything can be worked depth-wise only when you kind of spend time on it. So I can show time either by showing a clock or a calendar, or it can also be a night lamp or a light bulb shining on top, which kind of metaphorically signifies that somebody is spending a lot of time working on it, right? So that's how metaphorically we can actually visualize what's written. And then learning on demand, now I can actually have a person standing and then taking a book out of maybe a library or a bookshelf, sorry. Um, okay, I'll pause over here. Any questions? Muthu, Bharti, Rohini?
Good for now, Kumar.
Okay, cool. Second point is teach or summarize everything you learn in your own words, right? So I'll again do the same thing, right? Teach and summarize. And now you will also know why I am doing weekly warm-up sessions. One of the reasons is to become an expert in this, which is whatever that I'm learning, I'm also kind of teaching, so that over a period of time, I kind of get to learn. Okay, teach and summarize everything you learn in your own words. Okay, so now over here, you see that I have written own words in all caps because I want to kind of lay importance on that. So in Sketchnote, that also is very important aspect, that you of course write everything in small caps, but wherever you think that a particular keyword or a set of words you want to kind of highlight or want to kind of bring viewers attention to, you either use something like this, which is all caps, or make use of a highlighter like this, in which case you will highlight each and summarize over here. Okay, so for this, the visuals that comes to my mind is that there is person, right? And he's pointing to something. And then there are set of people, right? And then there is a whiteboard. Right? And can add some a speech bubble, add some dashes to it. So this kind of shows teaching and summarization. Okay. Cool. Coming to the last one, only compare yourself to your younger you. Okay, never to others. All right. So when it comes to comparison, the way we can do comparison is by either writing an equation, which is like something like equal to sign and then having blocks on either side. And then on one side, I can have myself as of now. I'm just imagining myself having French beard. And then on the other side, I'm having a younger self of me without any mustache or beard. Okay. Or it can be like I'm standing in front of a photo frame, which is my younger self, right? And then I'm imagining something, right? So that's how I can show comparison to comparing yourself to your younger you. And never to others means I'll again show myself prominently. And to kind of say never to others, I will have my hand stretched out and I'll draw a palm. So to draw a palm, I'll first draw U, add an inverted U on top of it, but add one of the lines directly to the U and then add a small bulge out of that to kind of show a thumb, right? And then add standing lines to kind of show that this is a palm. So I'm saying no to others, right? So yeah. So yeah, so that's mostly my sketch note is done. Now I can add highlights, like become an expert. So I'll add some pop out lines to expert, iteratively take on. So I'll in the first section, I'll highlight on iteratively and concrete projects, uh, depth wise, and then learning. So these are the main keywords that I kind of thought are important to kind of show. And then in second part, it is teach and summarize in own words. So whoever is looking at this sketch note, if they look at the colored portions, they'll say iteratively concrete projects, depth-wise and learning. So human brains has an ability to kind of fill up the gaps between, right? So they'll kind of fill up to create a pattern for themselves. So no, whoever reads this, they will be able to kind of no make a sentence out of that. Right? Similarly, teach and summarize own words. So it will be like teach and summarize in your own words. Right? That will automatically come up. Same thing for the last one, like only compare yourself to your younger you. So I will highlight compare yourself, younger you, and never others. Okay. So yeah, so that kind of creates our sketch note for today. And last but not the least, put on your signature, whatever handle, whatever name that you go with. Maybe create a signature to begin with. Just write down your name. I do it. I go with LetSketchin. So I'll do LetSketchin. And if you've got a shadow marker, no, you can always add shadow to kind of add some dynamism to your icons. always makes it look bit cool because it adds depth to the icons. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to share if you have kind of sketched out your sketch note?
I'll put it in the chat group.
Okay,
Kunal.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll stop recording.